All right, we're live. We're live. I'm here with Pastor Tom. How you doing, Pastor?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I don't think many people on the interwebs have heard from you in a little while.
Probably not.
Uh,
I've kind of been MIA from the webs for a while.
he's been doing all this lame in real life stuff, like building a family.
Yep.
So instead of arguing with people on the internet, he's been building a family. Can you believe it? Like
Lame.
freaking lame. You should be fighting with people on Twitter, Tom. I don't know what you're doing. It's wasting your life away. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about David Wood and Julie Roars are fighting, and I usually defend Julie Roars a lot more than Pastor Tom does. Because I even said, "You want to come on?" He goes, "Well, I'm not I'm not a fan of Julie Roars." I'm like, "Well, good news," because I am 100% not on her side right now. Like, so David Woods, if you don't know, he's famous for crapping on Islam a lot. That was his real big thing, how he went viral. He is a Christian. He's also, by his own admission, I believe a psychopath is the
Yep.
medical definition. He can barely feel feelings. He certainly has a very hard time with things like empathy and remorse. Despite that, he's mostly on a logical level come to know Christ and to repent and be a Christian. I find the guy somewhat fascinating for that. I've liked watching his stuff. I disagree with him on some things. He's like most Christians, he bows down to the golden calf of Israel too much. But beyond that, I like the guy. Um, there's an old video that had surfaced, him talking about when he was like 18 and 19. He was screwing some like 13 to 15-year-olds. And Julia Roars got a hold of this somehow and has decided to go after him for being a rapist and saying he doesn't even look like he feels sorry for it. And it's like, well, biologically he kind of can't. It's like being mad at fucking Data for not like he kind of can't. He said it was wrong and I shouldn't have done it, but he's not shedding a tear over it. So
Well, I
got
mean, and how old is he now, too?
Yeah, this was quite a while ago. Also, he's done a lot of other terrible stuff that he tried to kill his father. He went to prison for it.
Yeah, what did he do? Didn't he try to bash his father's head in with a hammer or something?
Yeah, he has a whole. It's a really fascinating video if you haven't seen it. He has a video and he's actually filming himself as he's walking. It's kind of fitting. He walks down into the subway and walks there for a while, almost like he's trying to symbolize the underworld, and comes back up. But he's giving his life story about how he viewed the world, his medical condition. I mean, I almost hate to say that, but he is messed up in the head. How he came to Christ, all this other stuff. It's a really fascinating video, but yeah, he talks about that. He did attempt to kill his father and nearly did, and went to prison for it for some time.
Yep.
He's
Yeah, well, was in
well-known.
prison. It was his cellmate who kind of helped lead him to Christ, I believe.
Yeah, he's most well known for crapping on Islam. That's his big claim to fame. So Julie's got this article, and there's a lot wrong with even the title. Again, people call Julie Roars a liar, and I don't think she is technically. I've never seen her technically lie about shit, but she does have quite the editorial slant. So, can a psychopath and rapist be fit for ministry? A response to apologist David Wood. So, there's a couple things in here. Number one, he's a rapist, again, in the sense that he had his hand caught in the underage cookie jar, not even pedophilia, not rape in anything but a technically legal sense.
So, I mean, the girls consented. They were just underage.
Yeah, it was skeezy. It was wrong. I'm not defending it, but
of course,
let's not water down words. It's statutory rape. It's rape in a legal sense. But if I go up to someone and lightly shove them, that's assault in the legal sense. Trust me, if I did that to a congressman, I'd be in prison. So like, yeah, technically, I guess, but not really. Let's calm down. Also, fit for ministry. He's not a pastor. He's not. He's a dude on YouTube. That's his quote unquote ministry. Julie Roars is basically, is he fit to have a YouTube channel and mention Jesus? I mean, I guess. Yeah. What do you mean? She really conflates this as if he's like, as if this is Mark Driscoll. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like,
a giant church or something.
Which is worst, rape or murder?
Well, these days, a lot of people would say the rape. But yeah, I would definitely say that attempting to bash your father's skull in is probably a lot worse.
No, but I'm not talking about attempted murder. I'm talking about actual murder.
But, you know, like,
I mean, because Paul was guilty of murder, and then, you know, then he got saved and went on to go write a majority of the New Testament.
I mean, you know, in the Old Testament, David, you know,
if you want to take that reading, he committed rape.
Yeah, got his best friend killed to keep screwing his wife. So,
well, and I'm pretty sure Julie Roars takes the view that he raped Bathsheba. And now, don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure I've seen her taking that perspective.
I wouldn't. I mean, I certainly don't, but I wouldn't be amazed if she did. Look, people are scum. That's like the one central point of Christianity, by the way, is just how bad people are. And David Woods had a really good video 5 years ago when the Ravi Zacharias stuff broke, that he said if people were more honest about their faults, particularly within the church, we would have a lot less problems.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe Ravi could have gotten help for being a ridiculous sex pest and not taking it as far as he had. If he wasn't afraid that he'd be treated like a monster. You know, Christianity is the one religion where we are completely convinced of man's depravity, and then we act shocked when man acts depraved.
Yeah. No, it's true. And I mean, again, and like, of course, again, the difference too that's really important is, you know, like especially between Ravi Zacharias and David Wood, this stuff was done before he was saved.
Yes.
David did this before he was saved, before he knew Christ. Why are we, you know, and now, I mean, again, it's one thing to, like, you know, I'm not saying, obviously there are scars and stuff that go on, but, you know, this is a different viewpoint here. Well, once somebody believes in Jesus.
Julie's harping on this point that David doesn't look like he's sorry for it. And at an emotional level, he's not. And frankly, I'm not a psychopath, and I'd be lying if I regretted every sexual conquest I had before I was saved on a purely emotional level. God forgive me, that's the reality. I know I shouldn't have done it. And, you know, there's the old nature in me that still smirks when I think about it. So I say that not even being a psychopath.
Well, and
David,
I mean, again,
as he a psychopath and is virtually biologically incapable of feeling any real deep level of remorse or sympathy or empathy. So at this point, it's like you're blaming him for it, like it's a medical condition at this point. Like it's documented, it's confirmed. Like,
I mean, has he been sleeping with underage women recently? No. Okay, so then at least in this particular sin, he's repented. He's not done it again.
Yeah, he has intellectually said it's wrong and I shouldn't have done it. He just doesn't emotionally feel bad about it.
Well, I mean, but did he even say that? Does he say, I don't feel emotionally bad about this? Or is it just from her point of view, he doesn't appear to be?
I think it's more from her point of view. But honestly, if you asked him, again, because of his condition, he would probably be like, I mean, not really. I don't. Like,
right.
He probably would. I don't think he'd argue that point. But I also don't think he wasn't like bragging about it.
Well, right. Exactly. I mean, it's, you know, and I mean, granted, you know, I mean, there's things that I've did that I'm not proud of, and, you know, again, knew were wrong, and I can think about them and I can feel bad about them, but it's not like I'm gonna break down in tears. I mean, I can acknowledge it's wrong, it's sinful, it's hurtful, but again, that's, you know, there has been enough time that has also passed where it's like of not living in that, where it's like, well, yes, I still feel that it's bad, but again, it's not going to cause me to break down in tears. Not at this point in my life, because I'm not there anymore, and I haven't been in that place in a long time.
All right. So
I've seen addicts in the same way, who have been recovering from, their being addicted. If they've been clean for a long time, this, the thought of what they did, it's not going to necessarily break them down at that same point, not right away.
And look, life isn't a Christian movie on PureFlix. Like you're not like completely 180 when you're saved. Like there's things you did wrong, and you look back on it and you're like, God forgive me, that was kind of cool. And that's wrong, and you shouldn't feel that way, but you still kind of feel that way a little bit. And you almost kind of can't help that. You can't really help how you feel all the time. You can make intellectual decisions that, like, no, that was wrong, I shouldn't have done it. But like, to be sitting here and like Christianity isn't about feelings.
Exactly.
It's not about like, oh, how you feel. Oh, dude, Beckloff, do you feel really bad that you had a threesome when you were a teenager with your redhead girlfriend and her blonde friend? And you want to know the God's honest truth? Not really. It was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I will acknowledge that intellectually. But most of the time, if that memory pops into my head, it makes me smirk a little bit. I don't know what to tell you. God forgive me. Like, what else am I supposed to say about it? Like, I am a man, and I'm not a particularly good one. I don't know what to tell you. I'm still saved. Like, it's not about feelings.
No, I mean, again, again, it is, he acknowledged the guilt. Yep.
I was wrong. Like, I will admit that. I will say, yeah, that was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't have fun.
Well, no, I mean, that's the other thing is, like, I mean, right? Sin wouldn't be tempting if it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the old saying, why does man sin? Because he wants to.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so opinion. This week, the Roy's Report published a story about Christian apologist David Wood, who openly admitted he had sex with, in quotation marks, which, I mean, that's what he did, 13 and 15-year-old girls prior to him becoming a Christian. We leave out that I think he was only 18, but whatever. The admission was shocking enough. Again, why do Christians have to, and I really think it's performative, have to pretend to be naive about human nature? Like, teenagers are horny. Like, is that news? Did we not know that? I mean, it was a long time ago that I was a teenager, Tom, but I do remember it.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't that long ago.
No, I don't get this whole, it's shocking. It's shocking that, I mean, again, this coming from a guy who tried to kill his father, and anything that he did is shocking to you?
No, that innocent 15-year-old didn't even know what sex was, Tom. Come on. I'm not even saying he should have done that or it should be allowed or anything, but like, can we just be like realistic about things?
Well, and I mean, like, what are you? I mean, maybe she's shocked that he actually told the truth. I guess she's used to dealing with so many liars. The fact that he actually admitted it, maybe that's why it was shocking.
All right, so the admission was shocking enough. Making it more egregious was Wood's seeming lack of remorse or apology. Again, I want to stress this. He's virtually biologically incapable of that. As you can observe for yourself in this clip. So this is just 2 minutes. Let's play it.
Are you hearing anything? I don't hear anything.
Oh, you're not hearing it? Okay, hang on. Maybe I don't have the audio. Hang on. I guess the audio doesn't work. I only got screen share, not the audio. I can hear it, yeah, but it doesn't.
Oh, well, I mean, if the audience can hear it, that's fine. I'll just play off of what you're saying.
I don't know if the audience can hear it either. You know what? We don't even have to play it. So he says that he had sex with she'll say it on here. Woods also minimalized his crime, characterizing the girls as willing participants, though what he described is deemed rape or some similar sex crime in all 50 states. 13 and 15-year-olds cannot give consent. Again, this is when he was like 18 or 19, though, too. So we're not even talking about like a 40-year-old man doing this. We're talking about an age gap of a couple years.
Wait a minute. If underage people can't give consent,
Yes.
so when two underage people have sex, they've raped each other.
He was 18 and or 19, something like that. But yeah, I understand why these laws are there to protect immature teenagers from preying adults. I understand why they're there, and I don't oppose them. But again, can we be fucking realistic about things?
Right. Yeah, I think better terminology. I mean,
if you say rape, people envision you held somebody down and forced.
right.
He also crassly described the 13-year-old had big boobs and wide hips, highlighting that she was post-pubescent. He also appears to smirk while talking about his sodomy of the 15-year-old girl. Okay, I wish I could play the clip. I don't know if I don't know exactly what she's describing as sodomy. I'd like a little.
Well, that's probably going through the back door.
Maybe, or maybe she just. I probably was a blowjob, to be honest. Knowing how Julie has the worst parts of being a feminist and a pearl clutcher. She truly is like a church lady. Normally, this kind of flippant confession and minimization would be deemed unconscionable, but I was deluged by negative feedback for publishing the story about Wood and called a litany of names by his followers. I know, mentions, Julie. Yeah.
People disagreed with me. Oh, how terrible.
Somebody called me a bitch on Twitter. I know. Was it rape, Julie? Does that count as rape too? I don't know. I don't know. She might stretch the word. Who knows? Shockingly, many don't seem to understand that sex between an 18-year-old, he was 18, and a 13-year-old is not consensual, regardless of whether the 13-year-old, quote, flung herself at me, unquote. Okay, again, legally, Julie, you're correct. But like I said, if I go up to like Randy Fine and slightly shove him, I will be in jail for assault. No rational person would call it assault, though. All things that's just, come on. This is ironic since sex with minors is something Wood and his followers condemn Muslims for embracing. Muhammad had sexual relations with his 9-year-old wife, Aisha. I'm sorry, but there's a world of difference between sex with a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Well, yeah, and
one of those is pedophilia. The other is just skeezy.
Yeah, and I mean, again, one is this was my life before Christ. The other is this is a feature of my religion.
Yeah, the other.
I mean, those two things are not the same. Yeah, I did bad things before I knew Jesus. Wow. Versus this is okay, and you should do this. This is what the Lord wants. I mean, not the same thing at all.
No, it's not. And again,
and it's not hypocrisy.
There's a million differences between these two things, Julie. There's a Grand Canyon worth of differences between these two things, and you either know that or you should. I don't. If you don't know this, then something's wrong with you mentally. Just like there's something. Just like David Woods is a psychopath. I guess you're something else. Is it autism? I don't know, Julie. What's wrong here? How did Wood ravage their precious souls? You sick. You sick. No, they made sexual advances towards him first, right? Someone on Twitter said. I mean, I think that's context. Similarly, someone with the handle @ColdFact posted, the title is really awful. He raped girls. No, he did not drag them into the bushes. As a teen, he had consensual sex with other teams. Statutory rape is a big difference. Yeah, it is. I mean, like, you know what you didn't say he statutorily raped 2 girls, Julie. You said he raped. You knew what you were doing when you said that.
Yeah, you know that word carries with it certain connotations.
Yeah, you knew the thoughts you were invoking when you said that, and it wasn't an 18-year-old had sex with the fucking freshman in high school.
I mean, that's like if I said that, I beat you. that's a different thing as opposed to, well, I assaulted you.
Yes. Like, you know what you were doing there, Julie. Let's see. Alisa DeGraff, an advocate for sex abuse survivors, noted in response to comments like these, the talk around this is really unsettling, especially in the context of the recent Epstein chaos. Remember, Julie wanted to vote for Kamala, and commentary around almost legal minors. Vulnerability doesn't end with puberty. A 15-year-old victim can 100% suffer lifelong PTSD. Yeah, sure.
Agreed. You know who else agrees? David. What's
Also,
even the point of bringing up comments on Twitter in response with David Wood? He's not responsible for the people giving those comments. You have no idea what they know about David Wood. Some of these people could have just seen this story and are commenting, not even knowing who the person is. I mean, it's just stupid to bring up the comments here.
well,
You don't even know if they're real people. They could be bots.
Somebody called her a bitch on Twitter, and so David Woods is an asshole.
Well, maybe a bot did. That's the thing. You don't even know if this is a real person.
I mean,
That's
Tom,
one of the reasons why I stopped interacting on Twitter.
These could have all just been David Wood sock accounts. We don't know. Could have just been. He could have just a farm of phones set up in his house. I don't know. I can't prove that he doesn't.
That's true. I mean, that's why bringing it up is ultimately useless. Bringing up comments, I mean, it's worthless.
One person says, your report, which I just read, very much came off as a hit piece and not accurate, telling what happened. You'd come off that article thinking David was casually chatting about it like it was just another fact, as if he went to McDonald's Tuesday and also raped 2 girls. Which I agree with that comment. Yet when I pointed out that's precisely how Wood sounded, Winger pivoted and expressed what's become the dominant point among Wood's defenders. Yes, he sounds casual, Winger replied. David always sounds casual because he is a diagnosed psychopath. Why does Julie want to dismiss that like that's not relevant or important? Like, she's complaining he's not expressing remorse, and when people bring up the fact that he has a medical condition that makes him largely incapable of feeling remorse, she acts like that's not a relevant point. That seems like a very relevant point to me.
It does for me too. I don't get it. I mean, like, why even focus on this?
Why isn't the man with who was born with no tear ducts crying? Because he can't. That's why.
There was someone who lost both their legs, and and everyone else was giving a standing ovation. They did not stand up. I was terribly
why
offended.
Didn't a guy in a wheelchair stand up for prayer in church? Does he hate God?
They didn't stand up for the what is it, national anthem? I mean, for real, it's ridiculous. And by the way, we're not making fun of people who are in a wheelchair. We're pointing out the ridiculousness of holding out, trying to hold somebody who biologically can't do something to a standard like that.
Why isn't he doing the thing he's incapable of doing? Okay, so others were less charitable, questioning my mental abilities for failing to grasp the point. I think that's fair. But I get the point. Our article acknowledged that Wood has been diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. This raises an important question, though. Can a current psychopath and former rapist be fit for the ministry? What you're defining ministry in such a broad term that if this is literally what you're defining as ministry, then I guess I have to pass a checklist before I can mention Jesus to a coworker.
Well,
David is just a guy on YouTube.
Right. Can he talk about Jesus? Yes, he can. Can he critique Islam? Yes, he can. Can he pastor a church? Probably not. And he'd probably say probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so. He could probably give really nice sermons. He couldn't do any of the other things that a pastor does, the non-visible part of the iceberg that is their job.
Probably not as a psychopath.
Yeah, I don't think so. Sadly, I think there's far too many psychopaths in that position, but that's a different.
But I mean, again, if you want to talk about in what he's doing, can he have a YouTube channel? Yes. Can he talk about Jesus? Yes. Can he talk about how Jesus, changed his life? Yes. I mean, what? Why shouldn't he be able to? I mean, again, well, okay, so what does that show you? That, okay, so the gospel is so great that it took a man who was okay with having sex with underage girls and transformed him to someone who acknowledges that that's wrong. And that even a psychopath can be saved because of the power of the gospel. But we shouldn't talk about that? Why?
And by the way, yes, John Steele, I did get a job. In fact, I'm going to work later tonight. So yes, it's okay. I got a job. But yeah, this is like, honestly, is it just that what is going on here, Julie? Is just Mark and James McDonald just been too quiet and you need something to write about? Like, what is the problem here? What is this? Prior to covering the story, this is not something I've ever considered. I wasn't aware there were any admitted psychopaths in ministry. Again, he has a YouTube channel. And certainly an apologetics ministry is different than a pastoral ministry, you think? Where someone is responsible for shepherding another soul. Still, my initial response, which I expressed it on X, is that psychopathy is a serious handicap because expressing proper emotions is key to imitating Christ and developing trust with others. Is it though? I mean,
you've got to.
Man. I think that he has a certain place to say where, look, I don't feel a great deal of emotions, and I've still logically come to these conclusions.
I'm sure where she's probably going to point to is where it says in Romans 12, weep with those who weep and laugh with those who laugh. But that's not meant to be like some kind of command, as if, if you can't do that, then you're not being a Christian. But David, properly mourn with those, even if he's incapable of empathizing with them? Can he still be there with them? Can he still, be there in their sorrow and their suffering? Yes, he can. Even if he can't empathize and literally weep with them.
Well, no, if somebody is born without functioning tear ducts, they're not allowed to talk about Jesus.
And I don't think you really want to have that standard anyway, because has she always wept when someone was crying over the loss of somebody? I doubt it. I haven't.
No, I haven't either.
Does that mean bad Christian because you didn't actually weep with someone who weeps? So, but was I there for them? Did I pray for them? Was I, sitting there and listening to them and offering encouragement and scripture? Yeah. So you're going to say, because you didn't literally cry. What is it that she's won? What's the standard? And does she hold that standard consistently for herself as much as she wants to hold it for him?
So Julie says, I'm certainly no expert, so I consulted someone I trust who is. Phil Monroe, lead psychologist, and Langberg, Monroe and Associates. Like the sociopath and the narcissist, a psychopath lacks empathy and has the willingness to use others, Monroe wrote in email correspondence. Clearly in this video, Wood expresses no real empathy for the young girls and his impact on them. Monroe noted, he expresses no empathy about the listener. I don't even understand what that's about.
I guess if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably for people who have gone through experienced sexual assault, and him talking about that he's not thinking about how somebody who's listening, if they've experienced sexual assault, how he's coming across to them. If I had to guess, I'd say that's probably what he's talking about.
Cool. That's fantastic. He is the center of the story. Yes, he's the center of the story. He's telling about himself. He even somewhat chastises the embarrassment of the other guy. Okay. I could guess he would say the context is his attack on Muslims who are saying he can't attack the prophet for child rape since he also did child rape. Again, I'm really going to stand on that hill. A 13-year-old and a 9-year-old are not the same thing. And I think it diminishes something really horrific if you try to pretend that they are. Yep. But no apparent awareness that anyone else might be listening in. Monroe also noted that Wood appears pugilistic, so anything goes to win at this point. And again, who is the center of the story? He is. Yeah, he said before he really likes arguing with people. He gets a high out of it. He said that numerous times. He said that that's something he has to try and rein in. These things make Wood a poor representative of Christ in this video, and I couldn't help thinking how his shocking demeanor would come across to the Muslims he supposedly is trying to reach. Yeah, I'm sure the guys that blow each other up all the fucking time are really offended by it. Yes, he may have brilliant arguments against Islam, but who would be attracted to the faith of someone who talks in such a self-centered and shockingly callous way? This is such like, you know what this reminds me of? A couple months ago, I covered when Tucker was doing a lot of the anti-Israel stuff. Jack Hibbs was talking about how he met Tucker at some event, like Turning Point or whatever, and that Tucker swears a lot, which Tucker's admitted numerous times, and sometimes he swears on his show. And he goes, is someone really a Christian if they say the F word so much? And it's like, that's really gay. Like, there's a certain level of moralizing that's just really gay.
Well,
Like, I don't think any man out there that isn't saved really respects you if you need the fainting couch when you hear the F word.
Well, right. And I mean, I keep thinking about Paul in this. I mean, all of these same things that they're saying, and not to say David would as Paul, but all of these arguments could be used against Paul. When Paul talked about his persecution of Christians in his letter, he was not giving any consideration to the readers of that letter and the Christians who might have suffered under persecution. And I don't see how any Christians could really be attracted to someone like Paul, who's, held the coats for people while they murdered somebody and actually tried to, get other Christians arrested and killed for their faith. I mean, he's a poor representative of Jesus, don't you know?
This attitude among evangelicals in particular that everything has to be sanitized and we all have to be nice and we all have to, we have to speak to other adults as if we're speaking to a 5-year-old with innocent little ears. I'm reminded of what was the guy that dealt with the prophet Baal? I'm blanking on his name.
Elijah.
Elijah. Thank you. I kept wanting to say Ezekiel, and I'm like, that's not right. What am I? My brain was crossed there. I reminded Ezekiel's considered like one of the. Elijah's considered like one of the most the most upright man in all of the New Testament, essentially.
Well, I mean, when you want to say the prophets, he's representative of the prophets of God.
Yeah, he's considered basically the most righteous man in the New Testament or in the Old Testament. And when he's dealing with the prophet Baals, he's sitting there and he's shit talking him. And he's like, "Where's your God? Maybe he can't hear you. Maybe he's on the shitter." And like that was just shocking language at the time, and everyone's laughing and snickering. And you don't this mindset that you have to be this like sanitized Full House Pure Flix person all the time. I don't think that wins people over, for one, because I think it usually comes across creepy and fake. But like, no one really is that. Stop pretending you are. Maybe be real with people. That might go a long way.
Well, it might. And I mean, again, it's the idea that, okay, so again, I mean, his sanctification is not fully achieved yet. Wow, way to go. And he's not trying to be a pastor. He's not trying to lead a church. I mean, so again, how much do we really, he did bad things before he got saved. He's being honest about the bad things. He's not, even if you want to say, well, he doesn't feel remorse, he's acknowledging that they are wrong. He's not defending them. He's not trying to be like, hey, it wasn't that bad, whatever. He acknowledges it is wrong.
I'm skipping ahead of some, but the one, wait, she's complaining here. When I brought this to his attention, he replied, David Woods replied this to her on Twitter. Don't you have like 90 cats to take care of?
That wasn't his only reply. I actually did see his reply. That's not like all he actually said. So she's being selective. She's kind of lying by omission there and not fully quoting him.
But again, it was funny.
It was funny.
I'm sorry, Julie. He got you. All right. Instead of maybe moralizing about it, just roll with the punches a little bit. Sewing Circle Feminist Christianity strikes again, posted someone else. Julie Rohr sounds like Aunt Screwtape. Some of these are hilarious, Julie. I don't think I would have published them. Look at how badly people burned me. I don't know, man. I wouldn't have highlighted them if I were you. Look at the L I took, everybody.
All right.
There we go. Julie Rohr's taking some L's today. Oh man. Oh.
I mean, and again, it kind of goes back to why is she picking this fight in the first place? Is there not? I mean, is there not someone else she could be investigating and looking into?
I guess it's a slow news week. I don't know.
And again, the biggest thing for me, guy did bad things, really bad things before he got saved. Now that he's saved, well, no, we've got to still hold on to these really bad things that he did.
Chat says psychopaths can acknowledge they've done wrong, but never expect them to actively expect that they care. Like, yeah, again, you're talking about somebody that just can't feel that. Like, what do you want? I don't like. I genuinely believe David Woods is saved. I don't know. I can't see into his mind or his soul, but I do believe he's saved. And yeah, he doesn't experience it on the same emotional level most other people who are saved. That I think, if anything, you should have sympathy for him in that regard.
Yeah. I would think so. And I mean, again, it's a further acknowledgement of the power of the gospel that a psychopath can be saved. And it points to the truthfulness of it as well, that, again, he wasn't won over by emotion, because he couldn't have been won over by emotion. He was won over by the truth of the claims made.
Chat says, does he have a mustard seed of regret, though? I mean, I would say the fact that he's saying that it's wrong, and
that he hasn't done it again.
Yeah, to my knowledge, he's not screwing any 13-year-olds now. So
right. I mean, now if that comes out, different conversation.
Yeah, I think that is a little bit of a different situation at that point, but that's not where we're at now. Chat says, I'm in my car laughing out loud. Look, I've defended Julie in the past quite a bit, and I like most of her reporting. I think she's done good work against James McDonald, Mark Driscoll, the likes of them. I think she's called some people out when no one else is willing to, and I respect her for that. But she definitely has a certain bent here. I wouldn't call her a far leftist. She's still mostly an evangelical, but I mean, she's certainly as far left as an evangelical is ever going to get.
Yeah.
This is the only other time I've seen her really go nuts. And again, she wasn't technically lying, but she was whining. I think it was MacArthur, but like, he kept his church open during COVID and didn't make anybody wear masks and didn't do any of that gay shit. And she was reporting it like it's a bad thing. But I mean, it was a thing he did that she was reporting, so it wasn't technically a lie. Chet says she has hurt her credibility here in this story, but I can also see some people running with it. I don't know, man. I don't think anybody's running against David Woods here. And again, I have issues with David Woods. A lot of people have brought up stuff from the Talmud with him because he's very Zionist. He's very much bowing down to the Israel golden calf. And, all this stuff in the Talmud. And I know the Talmud isn't technically scripture in Judaism, but it is important. And he just dismisses it or he defends it. He's much more charitable to the questionable things in the Talmud than he is to the questionable things in the Quran. That's a fact, in my opinion. I don't know how you could dispute that. I have issues with the guy, sure.
Sure. I mean, I've got
Julie
issues
Rohr's,
with his...
by the way, is also a Zionist, so it's not like she's got a point in that direction.
Well, and I mean, again, I don't always agree with, his methods of engaging with Muslims. And sometimes some of those methods I don't think are very effective. But, again, there's a big difference between disagreeing with him on some of these things versus what's going on in this situation. Right.
Yeah, this is literally just, again, you're yelling at a guy because he doesn't feel bad about stuff when he's not really biologically capable. You're digging up stuff that legally, I believe, is past any kind of, what statute of limitations. And also, I mean, with the stuff with his dad, he paid his debt to society. And he wasn't saved at the time. And as a Christian, you're not supposed to, there's a world of difference between things you do before and after you found Christ. That's a pretty essential part of Christian theology.
Well, I mean, it is, because if it's not, man, I mean, I'm done for.
Yeah, I mean, I I don't have much defense for half the stuff I did after I came to Christ. So, let alone the stuff before. Um, and that's the other thing. Like, what I know this that Julie Roars has this church lady school marm shit, but what about grace? Like, what about recognizing that we are all flawed? We're not talking about something that's happening now that has to be dealt with. We're talking about something that happened years and years in the past, and you want to moralize about the fact that he brought it up and he didn't shed a tear or something. Like, shut
Right. In
up.
her opinion, he didn't seem remorseful enough for it. I mean, because again, him acknowledging that it was wrong, that is remorse. So it's just a matter that he's not showing enough remorse. If he had tried to justify it, if he'd been like, it's whatever, it's not a big deal, blah, 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 like that's not remorse. But him saying, no, it was wrong, it's still wrong,
And even the context of him saying, like, well, she was post-pubescent and she had big titties and wide hips and all this other stuff. It wasn't even, and again, you can get this right from the article. It wasn't him trying to justify it so much as him comparing it to Muhammad taking a 9-year-old bride. So much as him saying, look, yeah, I should have done this, but that's not at all on the same level as taking a 9-year-old bride. And it's not. It's just not. Like he's correct there. He's pointing out, yes, it was wrong, but it's not the same thing.
Exactly. And it's not. Is it wrong? Yes, completely wrong. Is it the same thing as taking a 9-year-old bride? No, it's
No.
absolutely not.
In the ancient world, when they married you off at 13 or 14, they still, would have told you to leave the 9-year-old alone.
Yep.
Like, what's wrong with you? No, that one's not okay yet.
So, yeah, it's picking a fight for no reason, really. I mean, again, you could have just so many things. I mean, just why'd she have to chime in? Just leave it alone.
Again, I guess, has Mark Driscoll not been acting a fool enough lately, or James McDonald's too quiet lately? You got to do this.
I don't know, man. I wish somebody would talk about Driscoll. I see him on my feed all the
Oh
time.
God, he's popping up so much anymore.
I mean,
He's rebuilding his little empire, isn't
he
he?
sure is. Somebody needs to talk about him. I mean, come on.
I mean, I know James McDonald's been trying to, but he hasn't gained any traction. But Mark Driscoll's he was on the Charlie Kirk show shortly before or after Charlie Kirk died. Like he's getting platformed big time lately. And like that guy's quite possibly a psychopath. Like, just undiagnosed and pulling a Bateman pretending to be a normal person.
I don't know, but I mean, he's someone I would say is disqualified for ministry.
Yes, I don't even. There's someone I don't even particularly
And
want
by
having a
that, I mean
YouTube channel.
pastoral ministry.
Not sure I want him having a YouTube channel either. No, I just don't. I don't want people. I hate that he's just everyone's forgot and everyone's just taking him seriously again. That drives me nuts.
Oh, I know. Well, it bugs me for some of the people on, Christian Twitter, because it's, because he tends to agree with some of their points. Oh, well, some of this other stuff, we'll just, it wasn't that big a deal. I'm like, no, it was.
Yeah, well, Nick
Just because
Fuentes
he's agreeing
agrees.
with you socially and politically
Yeah,
doesn't mean that you can ignore some of these other moral failings.
Nick Fuentes agrees with me about Israel, but he's still a weird, creepy little queer. And that guy in his organization was grooming teenage boys. So, like, yeah, cool. I don't like Israel either, but you still suck. Like,
I don't know. I mean, and, I don't understand why he's getting platformed out the wazoo either.
yeah, I don't understand that.
Why does anybody take that guy seriously at all?
I don't know where that came from the past couple months. Everybody just decided Nick Fuentes is the new face of anti-Zionism. I'm like, is that a Mossad psyop to make anti-Zionism look gay? Look how gay and cringe anti-Zionism is. Here's this weird little test tube baby dude that can't eat meat. Well, unless it's Destiny's meat.
Yeah, hangs out with the cat guys.
But yeah, I actually watched again that video Mark Driscoll did years ago where that famous meltdown sermon where he's like, "How dare you?" And I'm like, I don't understand how anyone. Maybe it's because I had a dad, but I don't understand how anyone ever bought his paper tough guys thing. Because if I was in the audience for that, I would have been laughing my ass off. This
Well, you know, I talked to
how
somebody
dare
recently.
you?
I talked to someone fairly recently, and their defense of that was, well, his context was a lot of these people didn't have dads and blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know, man. I guess, but I'm just like, I don't understand how anyone fell for that. I'm like, it's so performative and fake. And
That's what it seems to me. Is it seems very performative.
I would have been laughing at him in that. It would have been, I was just uncontrollably would have been like, you look like a goofball. Like, what are you talking about? How dare you? His voice is cracking dirty. You're not even a good actor, Mark. Like, well, Tom, thanks for hopping on. Hadn't had you on in a while, and
Well, thank you for
I
inviting
wanted
me.
to
And
cover this article before I headed off to work, and I figured you might want to hop in because you're not a fan of Julie.
well, no, and I mean, you know, again, she's very selective about her targets, and they usually have a particular bent, and it is against, you know, her bent politically very often, I've noticed. And on the one hand, whatever, fine, but to me, that, you know, that her credibility, again, she'll go after people who have that bent, even if there's not really anything there. She will try to dig up and try to dig and dig and dig to find something. Even, you know, it's one thing if you smell a rat and then you go looking for it, but she goes, in my opinion, she goes looking for rats and tries to call whatever she finds a rat because they have a certain political bent.
She basically found a dust bunny this time. Claimed it was a rat.
Right, and you know that's, again, I mean, again, there's people who've got all kinds of bad skeletons, and it's good that people bring it up. But most of the people that she's talked about, she wasn't the only one talking about them. Now there are exceptions where she was the only one, but for the most part, a lot of these other people were saying it. They just didn't have as big of a platform.
Oh yeah, the McDonald and the Mark Driscoll stuff was all stuff that there had been rumblings of it for a long time. She just kind of amplified it. Like she didn't, you know, this wasn't. It's not like she went all Detective Pikachu and found this stuff out. Like she just stumbled across blogs no one was reading and amplified it.
I mean, you know, again, Chris Roseborough talked about a lot of this stuff for a long time before anyone was really taking it or him seriously. Of course, no one really still takes him seriously.
Good heavens, I posted the big thing on James McDonald on my blog back in the day, and
Right.
just ended up losing friendships over it.
But again, David's not a pastor and not trying to be a pastor, bringing up stuff that he did before he was saved and somehow saying, well, now that he's saved again, and having been saved for years and seeming to have, you know, repented of this. It's not like he got saved and he's still engaged in this behavior. So seeming to repent of this, trying to bring this up and say, well, you know, no, this doesn't qualify him. No, there's nothing there to that. That needs to be ignored.
Qualify him for having a YouTube channel.
Right.
Like,
and critiquing Islam.
Who are you to police this, Julie? Anyone can have a YouTube channel. Well, I mean, it's maybe YouTube's a little too policey about it lately, but other than that,
if it doesn't work, then it won't work, you know. But I mean, again, it's, you know, she doesn't need to help that, and it's again, yeah, I think it has hurt her credibility.
Again, Tom, thanks for coming on. I'm going to have to get myself ready for work. Folks, if you enjoy the content I put out, do consider supporting the show. Streamlabs.com/thebecklaw, paypal.me/thebecklaw, and Amazon wishlist down below if you want to get me a Christmas present. You know, it's almost Christmas time. I will check the dashboard real quick, make sure we didn't lose any super chats. And no, we're good there. All right. That's about it for tonight, folks. I want to thank everybody for watching. Becklaw out.